Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be going over my Slenderman X Dead by Daylight chapter concept. If you all enjoy the video, please consider subscribing, as any support is greatly appreciated. Like if you like, don't if you don't, but let's get into it. So for the Dead by Daylight Slender chapter concept that I have, it would come with two things. It would come with a killer and it would come with a map. I don't believe it would come with any survivor, as there's no really meaningful survivors in any Slenderman things, media, and no point coming with two survivors if you can't even come up with one survivor. So yes, the killer would obviously be the Slender Man, and the map would be Oakside Park, which was featured in, I believe, Slender the Arrival. So yes, that would be my Dead by Daylight Slenderman chapter concept. Now, on to the killer. The Slenderman would come with his power called Twisted Insanity. His walking speed would be 4.4 meters a second, his tear radius would be 16 meters, and his height would be tall. His first ability is Illusions. Press and hold the active ability button to emit a large static noise across the entire map for 10 seconds. Meanwhile, you go invisible, unable to attack, but walk significantly faster. This increases every survivor's insanity by one stage and shows many illusions of you all around the map, and will make the survivors scream, revealing their location. Once they use, this power goes on cooldown for 60 seconds. So this will kind of be a traversing perk, allowing you to increase the survivor's insanity, yet also allow you to walk a lot faster, which can help with you trying to move around the map for traversal. His second part of his power is a special power called Stalk. Similar to Michael Myers, you just hold the active ability button to lower your terror radius down to 8 meters and stand still. Any survivor you look at will slowly build up insanity and begin seeing static on their screen. Simple. It's like Michael Myers, except you can't move, and they'll get a slight cue when you're stalking them, but also when you're stalking them, they'll see illusions walking towards them, depending on their insanity stages. So for insanity stage 1, you'd hear a static in the distance, and illusions would appear rarely. So illusions will basically walk towards you like it would be like if the killer was walking towards you, except it's not actually the killer. So not necessarily like Doctor's illusions, but a lot more active than Doctor's illusions. Insanity stage 2, static heard nearby for survivors. Illusions will appear occasionally, which is more than rarely, and the progression speed would be slightly decreased. And then in Insanity stage 3, you hear static loudly all over the place, which will replace the Slenderman's tear radius. Illusions come at you all the time, and progression speed is significantly decreased, and also fake objects may appear frequently. So this will kind of incentivize for you to go and use the 8 pages, which we will cover in a second, to lower down your insanity. And yeah, I just feel he would be less of a chase killer and more of just a map-wide affection killer. The third part of its power is a special interaction called the 8 pages. Scattered around the map are 3. Only 3 will spawn at a time, so that there's not too many. It's 3 pages at a time. When one is interacted with by a survivor, it will take 10 seconds for another page to spawn. So they take it, or try and take it, it'll take a couple seconds to take it, and then it'll take 10 seconds for it to spawn. When one is interacted with by the killer, another page won't spawn for 30 seconds. So if a killer takes a page, the next one won't spawn for 30 seconds. So kind of like Pinhead, but in the opposite way. Pages that both survivors and killers can interact with, meaning that they can both interact with them. When a survivor interacts with a page, they will lose 1 stage of their insanity. Until stage 1, because after stage 1, you can't go back down to stage 0. Unless, which we will cover in a second. When a killer interacts with a page, they will make 1 random survivor scream, reveal their location, and that survivor will go up in one stage of insanity. So, when survivor is interacting with a page, a prompt will appear allowing Slenderman to teleport to them. If the Slenderman does teleport to them, the survivor will lose all their insanity, resetting their sanity back to 0, which is the only way to get back to 0 sanity, and will just spawn there, kind of like Pinhead to a survivor. So you could either allow them to lose one stage of insanity and not go for them, or you could try and teleport to them, try and get a chase, but then they go back to 0 sanity. So it's kind of a choice part of the power. And the fourth part and the last part of the power is blink. So press the active ability button to blink 2.5 or 2, depending on if it's too overpowered, 2 meters or 2.5 meters in front of you at a really fast speed. So like blink. Okay. Once you have used that, a short window, like similar to kind of like Wesker or Nurse, to use this ability again, and then once more. So you can go blink, blink, blink to traverse, like say the blinks can go through something like a window or a pallet. They can't go through walls though. So you could use the blink. Yeah, you have to blink 3 times in order to attack. So you do blink, say I'm coming at the end of the pallet there and shack, blink across the pallet. Survivor's going for the window, blink towards the window, and now I have the ability to attack. The attack, if it's not too overpowered, it would be similar to the aliens or the xenomorphs tail attack, but shorter. If it's too overpowered, we could just make it a basic attack. But the basic attack could hit over windows and pallets. If this attack is missed after the 3 blinks, it will have a very lengthy cooldown. So this power, how I was thinking about it when I was creating it, is there's basically 2 parts. There's the insanity part, which can be triggered by stalking the survivor using the illusions, and then the survivor's left to interact with the 8 pages. Then there's a second part of your power, which is traversal and chase. The illusions allows for traversal, and the 8 pages allows for traversal as well, with the teleport once survivor's interacting with it, and then the chase, which is the blink, because people hate when a killer doesn't have a anti-chase, or yeah, anti-loop. But yeah, that allows for Slenderman to have an anti-loop power along with some traversal and mostly a map affecting power. Yeah, I hope you all enjoy that. Now, onto his 3 unique perks. His first perk is Hex Tolerant Lurker. Whenever a Hex Totem is cleansed, it will be rebuilt by the entity after 240 seconds, 180 seconds, or 120 seconds. So either 2, 3, or 4 minutes. This perk can only be used a maximum of 1 for yellow rarity, 1 for green rarity, and 2 for purple rarity. Once this perk has been used said amount of times, the corresponding Hex Totem that is with this perk turns back into Adult Totem, and it cannot be used again. This perk, Hex Tolerant Lurker, does not work on itself. So basically, it will allow for a Hex Totem that's cleansed to be rebuilt by the entity, but only once if you're a yellow or green rarity, or 2 times if you're a purple rarity for 1 match. So either 1 time per match or 2 times per match, depending on the rarity. Once that's done, or if it's cleansed before those 2 are done, the Hex Totem turns back into, gets cleansed or turns back into Adult Totem, which will cancel out the perk. So kind of a simple power there, or perk there. His second perk is Consistent Presence. Whenever you start a chase with the Obsession, all other survivors hear a tear radius as if it was 24, 16, or 8 meters from them until the chase ends. This perk goes on a cooldown for 120, 90, 60 seconds, and the Obsession cannot change during the trial. Just a somewhat simple perk. This would possibly allow you to try and sneak up on a survivor for, like, during a chase. Say I'm chasing the Obsessions, say I'm chasing them around Shack. We'll say that I'm chasing them around Killer Shack. And there's a survivor on the hill generator right outside of Shack. I could try and get the survivor to go near that, the person working on the gen nearby the hill, and try and get a sneak attack on them. But it's not the greatest perk, but it would be a fun one in certain circumstances. And his last perk is Cruel Effect. When a survivor looks in your direction when they are farther than 50 meters away from you, you see that survivor's aura for 0.5, 1.5 seconds. And this perk has a cooldown of 60, 50, and 40 seconds. So basically, you're running, okay? You're running way far away from the killer. You look in that exact direction. They will see your aura for that short window. Now, I'm not sure whether Lethal Pursuer should work with this, because that could definitely make this perk and Lethal Pursuer somewhat overpowered together. But it also has a cooldown, so you can't just look, sees your aura, the aura goes away, you look again, you'll see your aura. It's like a certain duration thing, which is why that cooldown is there. Now, there's really only one skin I could think of for the Slenderman, which would be the horrendous movie version of Slenderman, which actually I think looks really badass and would be such an awesome skin for Slenderman. I think it looks really cool and definitely fits Slenderman's whole persona. Now for the map, as we had mentioned earlier, the map would be Oakside Park, which was featured in Slender the Arrival. It would feature all these iconic locations seen here, and would definitely feature some references to, say, like the 8 pages as we see here, or Slenderman carved on the map, and similar things like that. But yeah, that would be the map, that would be the killer, and that will be it for this video, folks. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. As you can see here, we are so close to getting 200 subscribers, and it would be greatly appreciated. Also, a very small percentage of you are subscribed, so any support would be greatly appreciated. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.